Hi, it's Rob Levy again with the Rob Levy Real Estate team here in Portland, Oregon. Hey, I wanted to update you some latest stats that have come out answering the question that everybody's been asking. When will sellers come back to the market? And I'm armed with tons of information here that I've just printed out from various sources, from Fannie Mae to Keeping Current Matters to Realtor.com to many other sites with a ton of information. So let's take a look at this information right now because, as I said, everybody wants to know because there's such a shortage of inventory right now. So here's what we've got. So basically, a study just came out that said there's 14 million households waiting on the sidelines. And to give you an idea, there's 115 million households in the United States, but 14 million that really plan to sell in the next couple of years. And another survey that just came out from another source said that 1 in 10 households wants to sell in the next year, and 63% of those in the next 6 months. And I'm speaking to you in late May 2021. So there was a couple of surveys done, as I'd mentioned, and one of them talks about, what buyers, or excuse me, homeowners think as far as when's a good time to sell. And on this first chart up here, you can see that 67% actually think now's a good time to sell. And you can see there was a dip there. And this particular chart goes back a little bit. It goes from 2010 all the way up to where we are now. And you can see there's a dip. And now all of a sudden it's kind of come back almost to where it was. So thought I'd go back and check most recently and see how things have been affected since the pandemic. And on this chart up here, you can see that respondents here think a good time, bad time, or not a good time. It's got all three on there. And that's from April of 2019. So that was almost a year, I guess, before the pandemic really hit. I guess right about a year. So this kind of shows the dip and shows things getting back to normal. So we've got sellers feeling comfortable about selling. So then the question becomes, of course, okay, Rob, well, should I sell? Well, yeah, and here's why. So keep watching this. So first off, you can see on this little thing, this has changed everything, this slide. 40% of workers expect to have some form of continued working from home flexibility post-pandemic. So here we are, we're in a situation where lots of people have learned to work from home. They're finding it's more productive. Now, am I speaking just as a realtor trying to sell houses, or am I speaking also as myself and for my clients? Well, for myself, I'm a realtor for almost 33 years, and that entire time I've worked in an office. Well, I've been working from home for the last year, and you know what? It's working out pretty good. And my business partner, Katie, and I, we've actually given up our office, and we're both working from our homes. And it just seems to be much better. Well, here's what we're running into. So here in Portland, Oregon in particular, a little state of 4.5 million people, a little over 4 million people, next to a giant state of 40 million people, California, we're seeing lots of people moving here that, let's say, lived in the Bay Area, and maybe were renting or maybe owned a house that they've got some equity in, and they're saying, hey, if I can work from home, it might as well be here in Portland on the same time zone, and it's only an hour and a half flight to the Bay Area. Let's just move to Portland. So we're seeing lots of younger families moving, and this is nationwide, by the way. Lots of younger families moving that are still working, and they're buying houses with more bedrooms and stuff like that. So that's the other trend that's changed, is the number of bedrooms wanted. All of a sudden, 4-bedroom houses or even 5-bedroom houses are becoming popular. We just put a house on the market that goes live tomorrow. It's an older style home, but it has a loft. Well, a loft is ideal for a home office. So what about whether I should sell? Okay, Rob, I'm going to sell. You've convinced me now is probably a good time I should think about selling. What about buying? So if you're selling, where am I going to go? Because that's been the biggest question. There's no inventory out there. Well, first off, with more sellers coming on the market, that's going to help us tremendously as far as more choices for you to have when you go to buy. And we also talked about the fact that because it's a seller's market, you can kind of demand a lot of stuff that you couldn't otherwise get away with. And some of that is rent backs we've done a couple of them up to 2 months on top of the regular closing time. So that's like 90 days from offer acceptance to when you've got to move out. But let's start with this one, because this I think is very important. This slide talks about from various sources, from NAR, from Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, CoreLogic, and so on. This talks about home appreciation forecast for 2021, and you can see they all average about 6.8%. So it does show that now is probably a time to get into a house. And of course, the big key with that, if you're selling your house and buying another house, is mortgage rates. So let's take a look at these mortgage rates. In this chart right here, this is the Freddie Mac 30-year fixed rate mortgages, and this goes from January 2020 through today, so through May of 2021. So the chart looks wild, right? Because it's gone down and it's gone up and it's going down again. But remember, it only started at 3.7%. So in January 2020, mortgages were at 3.7%. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And right now, I just got one today. They're still hovering just below 3. So say 2.875, numbers like that. So that's what we're seeing with mortgages. So where are they going to go? Well, here's where they're going to go. So first off, let's take a look, take stock where we're at. This slide, this one just blows me away because I've been a realtor since the 80s. This is average mortgage rates by decade, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. You can see that they've come way down. So where are they going to go? Well, that's this slide here. And this slide talks about mortgage rate projections from various sources, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, MBA, National Association of Realtors, and then on the right-hand side here, they average all four of them. And you can see that, let's take a look at 2022 quarter two, 3.67. Well, that's right back up where it was January of 2020. So it looks like we've done this dip during the COVID pandemic, and now it's coming back out to where it was before. The problem is people are freaking out saying, oh my God, mortgage rates are going up. Well, yeah, but 3.7 is nothing compared to the chart I just showed you of what's been happening for the previous 40 or 50 years. So you can see that now is a good time to think about selling, and if you are going to sell, you probably want to do that before all of your competitors get their houses on the market. And by the way, if you're watching this and if you're enjoying this series, I've got a whole bunch of these, please subscribe, click on the button, the subscribe button below, and share it with a friend. We're at the point now where thousands of people are watching these videos, and it's wonderful, and I get lots of questions I'm happy to answer. But, you know, if you're thinking about selling wherever you are in the country, if you're in the Portland area, we can help you. If you're anywhere else, as a top realtor in the country, I'm connected with other top realtors in the country, and I'd always be happy to dig up who's the top agent in your marketplace or one of the top ones that can work well with you in selling your house and buying another. But I think I've shown you that now is a good time to think about selling your house finally, and now is a good time at the same time to buy a house because you're locking in that low interest rate for 30 years. If you got any questions on this, happy to answer them. The information right here shows this is our website, roblevy.com, and our office phone number. And reach out to us. And again, please don't forget to subscribe to these, like it if you like it, make a comment if you want to make a comment, and share with a friend. Thank you so much for watching this video and all the other ones you've been watching too.